Hello everyone, welcome to my vlog of CES 2025. We're starting here on January 6th in the morning on our way to Las Vegas. Quick little travel montage and most importantly, coffee. So first stop at CES before the show floor opened was the NVIDIA Keynote. The line to get into this event was absolute mayhem, but I managed to get in and got a pretty good seat to see Jensen Huang come out. Rumor has it that jacket is worth as much as a 5090. Shocking, I know. Anyway, the big focus for this event was AI. I think they said it 132 times throughout the event, and I think it was as much for the shareholders as it was for all the techies. So, moving on to the stuff that we actually care about, they did a real-time rendering with DLSS 4.0 on the new Blackwell architecture. A lot of my complaints with DLSS still stand, even with this new version. It does seem over-sharpened, and scenes with motion kind of have this artificial smoothness to them that's kind of jarring and makes you feel like you want to puke if you're looking at the right place. And the sharpening can be seen here in that model's hair. And as you can see, if you look kind of to the bottom right as these pillars are going by, if you look closely, it's like a very nauseating effect. The material science is kind of cool. They're using the video memory to kind of enhance the material and make it look better. It does lead to some weird artifacting. You can see on the right side here, like this weird banding. Not sure how that is going to be fixed. I hope that's not in the production cards. And I'll kind of let this run out. This stuff isn't as interesting to me, but here's the stuff we actually care about. This is the RTX 5090 Founders Edition. Right off the bat, right angle 12 volt connector, love to see it. Hate cable managing those. And the sound effects. Woo, whoosh. The design of this is absolutely insane. As you'll see later on in the video, most vendors were doing 3-slot cards, and they managed to do all this in a 2-slot using the pass-through in the vapor chamber. Also, the memory layout is insane. The GPU is basically just surrounded by memory at this point. So, more sound effects. Woo. And this is the claim that has got some traction on the internet. That's obviously with AI and stuff like that. I think that will not be the case. The pricing isn't too bad. Obviously, on the high end, it's going to be a bit out to lunch for most people, but that's just how it goes. And with the laptop variants, as always, I expect them to overheat and not perform anywhere near the desktop equivalents. So, same old, same old. Shout out Julie, by the way. I think that was her name. But, yeah, sizing wise, it's not bad. A 2-slot for that amount of performance is pretty good. So, small factor people will rejoice. You still got something cool. As long as you can find a 1000-watt SFX power supply, because I bet those things grab so much power. And this is the Captain America Shield NVLink Blackwell. NVLink is obviously similar to SLI, and this is the stuff that they're going to use in the data center applications of this hardware. So, starting off day one on the show floor at CES at the Las Vegas Convention Center, the first thing we got to see was the Sony Afeela electric car that's going to be made in collaboration with Honda. The car is a hatchback-ish shaped sedan similar to the Polestar 2 and the Tesla Model S. It packs a 91 kilowatt hour battery with the NACS Tesla charging port, which is a win. The interior features similar design language to that of Sony's PlayStation devices in terms of software, and it starts at 90K, and the highest trim of the car is priced at around 102K. Given that it's a Honda, reliability is probably guaranteed, but it remains to be seen whether that is actually the case, given that this is their first ground-up EV. The Prologue that they currently sell is just a Chevy Blazer that's been reskinned with Honda badges and stuff like that. But it looks pretty cool. You can see a lot of the autonomous driving tech on the top, and I like the look of it. It would be interesting to see if we start seeing more affordable cars. I know Rivian's doing like the R2 series, so that's more of the EV that I'm interested in versus something like this, but looks pretty cool. Next up, we are at Nikon, who had some pretty interesting stuff to show off and had one of the biggest booths at the event. The robot here is pretty cool. I still think these operate a lot like keyframes in an editing program, not fluidly like you would expect in human-like. And you can kind of see that in the movement of this robot arm. It kind of drops some stuff, and it's just kind of following a pattern versus actually recognizing things and following it that way. What really caught my eye, as you can see, is their announcement of the acquisition of Red Digital Cinema, who are far and wide regarded as one of the best in terms of their cinema cameras and lossless digital filming. We have a little demo here on the way from one of their employees, and I asked them what they were most excited about following the acquisition, and they said they were happy that they would look forward to finally having different lens selections to offer their customers. There haven't been any announcements from Red yet, but we can assume that the next model will transition to the Z mirrorless mount from Nikon, which reduces the flange distance compared to the RF mount that's on there. So let's listen in on this demo.
Sign in over there when red's over, green's middle gray. How do I go get the sign over? Well, we could stop down, right? But that would bring in a bunch of noise. Someone would say ND, right? But that would also bring the floor down. Yeah. Did anyone know when it's Samsung? Can we go ask them really nice to turn the light down? Maybe a flag. You guys got a 20 by flag in your back pocket? Nope, no flags. I come over here and I turn on extended highlights. Watch that area right there. Watch the middle gray. Nothing changed except for that area right there, and I'll turn it off. I'm bringing back, which was previously gone. It's there. Now, I'll be our former president. I shoot with it all the time. He doesn't buy his cards. He doesn't work on his footage.
Moving on to the Samsung booth at the Las Vegas Convention Center in the main hall. It looks like we have some frame TVs here. The gallery TV kind of space has exploded in the last couple of years, and I believe this big one is, I think, 115 inches. It looks absolutely stunning, and it was putting off a ton of heat, so hopefully the production model doesn't have that issue. TCL were also showing off some cool things. Specifically, they had a couple of TVs that were showing off the micro and mini LED technologies, as well as some larger TVs, this one being 163 inches. I was especially impressed by the sharpness and contrast of this TV, given it's not an OLED and the pixel density is a lot lower at a big size like this. They also showed off a new display technology that mimicked an e-ink display. I'm a huge e-ink fan, so I love to see these. They also had a pair of augmented reality, being one of those new buzzwords alongside AI. I unfortunately didn't get to try these because the line was super long, but they look similar to other ones displayed at the show, and I ended up being able to try some other ones by Hisense. So here we're looking at another pair of AR glasses. These are the Hisense AR glasses. I will hopefully get a chance to try these on, so we'll see how that goes. These Hisense glasses didn't blow me away. The display quality and fit were okay, the speakers were good, but they didn't have any chromatic tint to darken the surroundings of the display, and the interface was not easy to use. They also didn't have any AI features or anything interesting like that, so I'd put these on the lower end of the ones at the show, but they were cool. Moving on to Panasonic, they were showing off their upgraded lineup of mirrorless cameras. the S5 Mark II full frame hybrid camera, the more video centric version of that, the S5X Mark II, as well as the GH7, which has been out for a while. I was impressed by the build quality of all of these, and the feature set seemed pretty built out. You can see the inspiration taken from Sony's mirrorless lineup, with the S5 Mark II competing with the Sony A7 IV, the S5X with the A7S line, and then the GH7 with the A series APS-C cameras. The L mount these cameras use has matured a lot, and there's a lot of options for high quality glass to go along with these that make it worth a look, especially as E mount glass has a high barrier to entry due to its popularity recently. Here we have Shokz, the biggest producer of bone conduction audio products. They were debuting some newer versions of their popular office headsets, including these, the OpenMeet UC, which as you can see look a lot like traditional headphones but sit completely on the outside of your ears, which actually help a lot with the comfort. They were pretty light and unobtrusive. Let me know in the comments, would you ever wear something like these? They're definitely different to any kind of headphones I've ever seen. They also had some sunglasses with a built-in camera. No AI or any smart functionality built into these, but some of them apparently had some bone conduction audio in them, but I did not get to try that out while I was there. LG announced a lot of their stuff before the show floor even opened, so there wasn't much suspense. Here we're looking at the new transparent OLED displays in a very cool demo where they had them spinning in front of a chandelier. I was taken aback by how thin these displays were, which combined with the transparent nature makes me wonder where they actually put the I/O, the power supply, the motherboard, and the rest of the things needed to actually use the TV. On the website, the 77-inch transparent TV is selling for an eye-watering $59,999.99, of course. Low key, missed opportunity, should have been 6969.69. Come on, LG, do better. But also, there is a Zero Connect box that allegedly comes with one of these, which I assume is like the One Connect box. I guess, real original naming there, LG. But that would include all the HDMI ports, the display port, whatever else that you would want to plug into the TV. Here we have the 45-inch UltraGear OLED monitor that features the automatic curving display. I could see this being amazing for something like a hybrid racing sim setup, where it can be curved for immersion in the sim and then flat for everyday use in something like an FPS game. I was lucky enough to see the first self-curving display that LG came out with about a year ago, and they've certainly improved the mechanism since then. The whole process was quiet enough to not be noticeable and finished in about 15 to 20 seconds. Back into the world of augmented reality, arguably the frontrunner in the space is X-Real, especially after their introduction to the public on The Tonight Show when Linus took them on there. The overall size of the glasses is quite similar to the Viture XR glasses I got from LTX 2023, and they feature 3 levels of electrochromic dimming to darken the area around the projected screen, built-in speakers that are at the end of the frames, and the ability to power them through any USB-C device that can output a video signal. I think these devices are pretty cool, and I would like to see more autonomy. I think the coolest implementation of one of these that I saw was running off of Google TV, and it just had a remote connected to it. So I'd like to see more stuff like that in the future. There was a lot at the Gigabyte booth in the North Hall. So I'm just gonna let a little montage run and you guys can enjoy. I made sure to get a lot of the product labels for all the stuff I'm showing, so feel free to pause the video and take a look at what you're interested in. is super exciting. So I have purchased a Rada Supernote, and it looks like we have a competitor here touting very similar features. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a look. So we're looking at 10.3 inches. It does look like it runs Android. The glare seems to be pretty good. We're in some pretty good lighting, so it doesn't really matter. But this looks very similar to the books in the Supernote in terms of interface. So it looks like you have brush, pen. Brush is obviously my favorite. New folder. So in terms of interface, this doesn't seem too friendly, because like that should be a compose, but it just goes to this. Let's see if I can start a document. Nope, same thing. So just pen feels nice. These are plastic nibs. One thing about the Supernote that I enjoy is that they have the ceramic nibs. Let's see. Just gonna find something to try and write on. So it looks like there's that. Okay, so on brush. The actual writing feels really good, actually. Much better than something like the Remarkable. And is this eraser? Oh, it is. So it's a stroke eraser by the looks of it. That is really cool. So,
Oh, can I?
So it looks like the one we had a look at was the Keynote 2. I was told pricing on the older one. So the difference with the one that I tested and this one in front of me is you can only interact with the pen, which is slightly interesting. I don't know how I feel about that for $379. The writing feel on this one seems pretty much the same. They are both Carta screens, which Carta 1300 I believe is the newest one, so it looks like this one would be probably using one of the older variations. And then this is at 300 ppi, which is the same as the Supernote, so that's this model right here. And I'm pretty impressed. The pricing is about around competitive, so this one goes for about $449 she said, and then this one was around $350, so competitive with the Supernote. And they did not seem to understand my question about side loading, so that's maybe something to look into, but yeah, very cool. Possibly the coolest thing I saw at the show was here at the booth of Flint Paper Batteries. This is a Singapore-based company that is manufacturing battery cells made up of paper, which allows for the ridiculous flexibility and small footprint that you guys are seeing. And the carbon footprint is equally small, with the battery cells being reusable, and the rest of the battery is actually able to be used as compost, making it incredibly friendly to the environment. I was particularly amazed by their demo they had playing, where they showed the battery being lit on fire and not burning, which is crazy even before you consider that it's made of paper.